What's up, guys? How's it going? I want to show you this generator that I've put together. This is another pedal generator that I've just thrown together, and I did a video on my other generator which had an alternator on it, but this one here has a DC motor on it. So I'm just going to jump on it, show you it working to keep the video interesting, and then we'll talk a little bit about how it's put together and what it's built from. Do not try this at home. The output voltage from that motor there, when you spin it up to a higher RPM, can put out a voltage that can be harmful to you. So do not try this at home. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Now start pedaling it, and you can see the voltage on the meter now. 33 volts. So if I keep a constant rate, let's see, about 15, 16 volts. Start really cranking on. Get about 45 volts out of it. So at a slow pace, we can get a voltage that we can charge a deep cycle battery or a car battery, whatever you want to charge. So I have a drill here. This is an AC drill, but it will run on DC as well because it's a universal motor. So we'll see what it does. Crank this up here. So now I'm going to try a small rotary tool. This is like a Dremel, but it's a knockoff. Let's see if we can So I have some tail light bulbs over there. There's 4 of them in series, and we'll try those first. And plug them in on their own. So I have some halogen bulbs here, and they say they're rated at 51 watts, and I have 3 of them in series. Now I'm going to hook up all the bulbs. So I have a battery hooked up to the generator over here. To make this work, you have to add a diode to the output of your generator, because this is a DC motor over here. If you apply 12 volts to it or whatever, it's going to then start the motor. If we attach the battery, we're going to start spinning the motor. We don't want that, so we want to use this as a generator, so we have to add a diode. And what I've done is I've made up this cord here, and I've just spliced in a diode in line with the cord. I'll show that later on how it's basically wired. So what I can do is start turning the generator. Now see voltage going up, and I'm just keeping it at a constant speed, and the battery now is charging. So I wouldn't go over 14.5, so you just keep a nice low speed, 14.5 volts. You can feel the load on the generator, and now it's charging. So as long as you keep the voltage at about 14.5 volts, 15 volts, and you're okay. Now what you can do is you can hook up an inverter directly to the battery. I have one over here, a 1000-watt inverter, and then you can plug in whatever you want. So basically you have yourself a pedal inverter generator, a very simple pedal inverter generator. I have a drill now plugged into the inverter, and we'll take a look at the voltage over there. You can see the voltage now dropping on the battery. So if you were to jump on that bike and someone was to start cranking it, then it would start replenishing that voltage drop that we have there. You could also hook up a USB charger to the battery. You can get those right at the dollar store for $1, and you can connect up a whole bunch of them to the battery. But I would recommend charging the battery with them disconnected, and then you connect up to the battery and then charge your phone, because you don't want a voltage spike from the generator. It'd be better just to charge the battery up to 12.5 volts and then connect your phone. So it wouldn't take very long with the setup. And you can see how many watts that you can get out of it once I power all these bulbs. There's a good 150, 200 watts you could get out of this generator. What's it made of? Well, we have a lawnmower electric motor here. This is out of a 120 volt household. You plug in lawnmower, and it's a DC motor. It's a permanent magnet motor. It has brushes. So it has an armature. So this motor basically puts out a DC current. We don't have an alternating current like you get out of your outlet, but we have a direct current, more like this battery over here. We have the electric lawnmower motor here, and basically we have a old bicycle. Take the tire off the rim and you can just put a belt right over top of the original rim. You could use a metal rim. This one's a plastic rim. It works out pretty well. Most important thing you're probably going to be wondering is about the pulley. This motor here had a blade on it, so what I've done is I removed the little adapter that was here and the plastic cooling fan. So I've just installed this V-belt pulley, which was off of an SI GM alternator. Now you could probably find a pulley somewhere else. You don't have to take it off an alternator. So of course with a large pulley here and a smaller pulley here, you're going to spin this, let's say 1 turn, but the generator is going to spin maybe 5 turns. So that's what we want. We want to have an increase on RPM at the generator, but not too much, because then we won't be able to crank the bicycle. It'll be too hard to spin this motor under load. The only way to regulate the voltage output from this generator is your speed of which you're cranking this bicycle. And the base of it here is very, very simple. We just have a few pieces of 2x4s. So basically I just slap this together. I don't build things usually from directions or copying or anyone. I just come up with whatever design at the moment.
So this is what actually was built. So we have 2 vertical pieces of 2x4 that go just underneath of the axle of the bike here, just on the bolt. And then I have an angle piece here that gives it some structure for moving side to side. And then we have a piece on the bottom that gives you the base, like so it doesn't tip over. And then the axle of the bike is just held down with this clamp here. So on this side, I've just used some all-round. You can buy that right at a hardware store. Basically, just put it right over the bolt and then drive some screws in. It'll hold it in place.
So for the electrical, there's only 2 wires that come out of the motor. We have a black wire and a red wire. So the black wire is your negative and the red is your positive. So those 2 wires run through the cable there up to that electrical box. Now I'm just using a household 120 volt AC outlet, and they work fine. It'll handle the current. So by using the receptacle, then you can make up your own cords very easily. You can get, this is the charging cord, so this one has the diode on it, and then the other cords are just basically direct hookup. So
Alright guys, so to charge a battery from the pedal generator, you need to make a custom cord. So what I've done is I've just taken an electrical cord like this one here, cut off a TV, and basically what I've done is I've just cut the wire and I've just soldered, I'm going to solder in a diode in line with the negative pin on this plug. So we have to use a polarized plug like this one here. You can see that one pole is larger than the other one. So the large pole is the neutral, and the smaller one is the hot, normally coming out of your wall socket. So what I've done is I'm using the large prong as negative and the smaller one as positive. So whenever I plug something into the generator, it's always going to have the right polarity. So when I plug in and I have it marked on the end of the wire as well, then there won't be any problems. Don't use one with where the prongs are the same size, or you'll plug in the wrong polarity. So you don't want to do that.
we'll tape that up, and then we'll have our specialty cord. The way to use this generator is to charge a battery, and then you can just connect an inverter to the battery and you can run whatever you want. So you could actually run all the fluorescent lights you want to run off of it, or LED lights, and then you can save a lot of wattage. You don't have to crank this thing up so much. With these incandescent bulbs that I have here, they actually draw quite a few watts.
I have the motor back together, and I've replaced the magnet inside. There's the original magnet, completely destroyed, and I only was able to put a magnet in that was about half the size of the original magnet, unfortunately, so I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to test it out. I have a battery down here. I'm just going to attach 12 volts to the motor, so this is just a low voltage.
Shaft is also bent on this. That's why it's shaking like that. I think they've hit something. So this mower was completely destroyed. So if you look in there, you can see the magnet is not as large as the other one down in there. Fortunately, the motor still works, but I think it's going to have a lot less power without that full-size magnet in there. I couldn't find another one. So for me, this motor was free. It was salvaged out of an old lawnmower, and basically the motor failed on them and they just threw it out. So and I turned around and did a little repair on it, repaired the bearing in the back, put a bushing in, and then I replaced one of the magnets. So it was like let's say about a half an hour repair on the motor, and now it can be used as a generator. Okay guys, well I have the motor here, the permanent magnet lawnmower motor hooked up to this induction motor here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this sucker on and we're going to see the voltage over here, and I also have a lamp hooked up over here, a bulb. It's a 100-watt incandescent. So you're only going to be able to run an incandescent bulb off of this. Let's turn it on and see the output voltage. We have 45 volts output, and I'm going to turn on this lamp here. This is a 100-watt bulb. Bulb is getting hot. Alright guys, so I've hooked up some automotive turn signal bulbs, and I have 4 of them down here in series. So they're connected in series. We start from the one, we go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it's all in a loop, and basically like a Christmas tree light set. Added a few extra bulbs. I have these 51-watt halogen bulbs, and I have 3 of them in series. Now they're connected up with the other bulbs, so we have quite a few bulbs there. To set a better example, I'll wear my linesman gloves when I'm connecting wires up, because it's probably not going to start up with under load, so let's try it. Okay, so it's on. We have 45 volts, and we'll attach the there's quite a bit of arcing on the brushes. I don't know if you can hear that. So I don't build these things because I'm worried about a doomsday event or anything like that. I just build this as a hobby, and I like to actually share information. I like to show you guys how to actually put one together. Unfortunately, I didn't do a DIY video on it, putting it together, but you can see it's very straightforward of how it's put together. So, and there's a lot of these on YouTube. There's a lot of different designs, and people are using different motors. Now, this one is the lawnmower motor. Other people are using treadmill motors, blower fan motors, all kinds of different motors. You can use alternators if you like. So that was just another pedal generator, and thank you for watching.